Good morning, kids. Welcome to the Saturday morning edition of the Kong Family Show. Today we have a very special guest, Mrs. Carol Hettinger. Is that correct, Hettinger?
That's real close. Hettinger. It's just like it's spelled.
Hettinger.
Yeah.
Hettinger. Hey, I like that. That's cute. That's got like Tinkerbell kind of
There you
connotation to it. And she's from Beaumont, Texas. And yeah, so here at the Kong Family Show, what our goal is to share information with the world and to be able to help answer questions and that kind of thing by bringing people on the show who have interesting stories to tell. And that way we can, stories are what change lives. I know that it was a story that got me involved with Kangen Water. It wasn't all the facts and figures. It was a really heartwarming story that hit me right smack dab in the heart. And that's how I ended up getting involved. And, it's been interesting because our goal is really simple around this joint. We just want to change the world. And that's what we're doing. We're changing the world. And, and so part of that process is awesome people like Carol coming in and sharing what they have to offer. And so, Carol, the first thing that I always ask everybody, because I think for me, it's one of the most important aspects of this, because it's what leads, it's what helps people, have their brain cell turn on, have something good go into the abyss, right? And so my first question is how, why, and when did you decide to get involved with Kangen Water? And were you a big time skeptic like I was? Because I was a huge skeptic. I laughed and joked and thought it was so stupid and just, wasted 6 perfectly good months of my life that I'll never get back, but so what was your story in that regards? How'd you find out, and why did you decide to join, and how long have you been in the Kong family?
Well, it's amazing looking back because I've been doing it, I guess it's 2 years in June. It was the end of May, the beginning of June. Thomas had already been into it for almost a year. And I didn't listen to him. I wasn't into it. I wasn't backing him. And he said, you know what? I've got to do my thing. I've got a jet. I've got to go spread the word. I'm doing this with or without you. And so it was a light flipped on. I'm like, okay, well, do I love him enough to find out what he's doing? Do I love him enough to figure out what it is that this is? And help him, join him. So I did some studying. I joined in on the backside and started talking to Jen and some of the other people in the group. And I figured out it wasn't some sort of conspiracy. He hadn't been hijacked by some aliens that had sucked his brains and made him go crazy, which is exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, he's been brainwashed. It's a cult, So I guess we're all in the same cult at this point because we've just got a wonderful family, and everybody really wants to do ultimately is help everybody else. Yes. And I guess that makes people skeptical because in today's society, people don't want to help. This is not a society of helping people that have your best interest at heart. This is a society of watch your butt and cover your back. So.
Well, that's one thing that we can proudly say here in the Kong family, that we're the exact opposite of that. That's what we want to do. We want to help people, and we all have tremendous passion for this, and that's why we reach out and continue to put the word out there, regardless of what's being said around us, because we don't really care what other people say, especially people who won't do their own research and actually learn what the heck this is all about and how special and important it really is. But so your why was basically, Thomas was going after it with or without you, and you thought, well, heck, maybe I better check this out. And
that's what my why was.
That was 2 years ago. And so what kind of research did you do besides of Thomas, or did you just say, hey, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me? Or did you actually do some digging on your own?
I started talking to Jen and other people. And so I really got in on the advertisement side of it as to, okay, we're going to do the GAS platform. We're going to show you how to start your own business. We're going to show you how to advertise. We're going to show you how to, you know, be an entrepreneur. That's what we do. And it really had nothing to do with the water. It wasn't until way later, after I got the machines and I went to my first demonstration, probably a year or so into it, that I'm like, oh my God, I've got a gold mine. I saw that first demonstration live and I was like, ding, 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 all the lights went off.
Yeah. Boy, isn't that the truth? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
once we realize what we have here, it's pretty mind-boggling. Like we were talking about this morning on the morning motivation. It's something that you know, very few, if any, people in the world have, is something that everybody needs, and something that hardly anybody has, and something that has absolutely zero competition. And so that's a tremendous blessing, not only for us, but for the people that we're going to get to help along the way. And you know, so that's great. I'm glad to hear the way that you got involved. You know, it's interesting to hear what people say and what their journey was, because I know there's a lot of skeptics out there like me, and you know, family members and such like that, that if we just continue to share the story, they're going to eventually come around. It's like I've been telling people as of late, this is the microwave oven of 1967. This is the cell phone of 1973, kids, right here.
Yeah, it's the TV of the 20s.
And there's exactly. And so, yeah, that's really exciting. And so the next thing that I'm always interested to hear, because this is a big part of the reason why we do what we do, is because it, you know, it changes lives, and it starts with changing health, and then that ends up building into wealth. And, you know, ultimately the ultimate wealth in this world is health.
Absolutely.
Because you can have all the money in the world, and I'll tell you what, you'll spend every dime of all that money you have trying to get your health back if you lose it, or I should say when you lose it, because pretty much everybody out there, because of this toxic world we live in, not only toxic for the brain, but toxic for the body itself, you know, it's just a matter of time before you're going to start having health issues, and you need to go to the doctor for this, that, or the other, right? And so I like to ask all the guests, what happened for you with your health, with the most important component of everything? What happened for you? What happened for friends, family, people that you know? It's all about stories. And, you know, the story that got me involved wasn't a product story. It wasn't a business story. It was a health story. It was a life-changing story. Somebody that went from 19 different medications, who was praying to die every day, hoping she would die, trying to liquidate everything she had, to fast forwarding 9 months later, and she's off all of her medications, and her life has completely changed, and all that. And that's what got me involved. So, you know, what kind of stories do you have to tell our audience in regards to that aspect of the company?
As far as the health aspect, luckily, knock on wood, I've always been a healthy person. But in drinking the water, I definitely have more energy. As a matter of fact, because I just turned 46, I decided that it was time to get in with a family doctor. I've never had one. I've been here since the early 90s. I moved from Ohio to Texas when I was 17, going on 18. And I can count on one hand the number of times in the last 20 plus years I've been to the doctor. So I made an appointment with a friend of mine's doctor and got in there. I was talking to him. I told him the only reason I'm here is because I need to establish a baseline. I figure I'm 46. I need somebody who knows my numbers, knows my blood work, can look at everything and say, okay, this is not what it was last year, you know, in case anything were to happen. And I was already on the water, had already been on the water for a couple of years when I went here a few months ago. And he did all the echocardiograms and blood work and I went back a week later for my test results, and we're sitting there, and I actually handed him a pamphlet on the machine and the water, because we were talking, and he said, you know what, because I am a little overweight, only because of stress, and I'm a grazer. When I get stressed, I sit there and I graze on anything that I can put in my mouth. It has nothing to do with anything but that. I'm a grazer. So he said, you are the first person in over 2 months that I've looked at and said, I'll see you next year. He said, all your numbers are perfect. He said, you got 2 that are a little low compared to what I like them to be, and that's your B12 and your D3. He said, so I recommend you take a little B12 and a little D3 to boost it up there, because I like those numbers higher. He said, but I'll see you next year.
Fantastic.
Exactly. So, I mean, exactly. And then my mom is bone on bone. She's 70. You're 76, Mom?
Yeah.
My mom is 76. She's bone on bone in her knees. We got her started on the Hooooooooo and the water, and she's moving better. She has less inflammation, because her goal is she wants to hold off and not have knee surgery. She wants to be able to have the injections of the stem cells where she can grow her own back.
Right.
She believes that's coming. She believes that's going to happen, and that's going to happen. So
Yes.
in the meantime, while we're waiting, she does the HoooooooO pills, and I mean, she gets around wonderful for somebody who's bone on bone. They're like, the doctors look at her and they're like, okay, well, why are you not taking pain medications and all these other anti-inflammatories and stuff? She says, it's fine. It's manageable. The pain is okay. I'm good.
I told him it was poison and I wasn't going to take them.
She said she told the doctor it's poison and she's not taking that stuff.
Bless her heart. Did I tell your mom I love her today?
JJ says he loves you, Mom. She says she loves you too.
I love all the members of the Kong family. They're such incredible people, and they just have such a tremendous desire to help share the word, because once you start having the life-changing aspects of just changing your water, you know, their whole thing, change your water, change your life, they're not joking, and it's not a joke. It's as serious as a heart attack, you know, and in preventing them too. And the science behind it is so solid and so sound, and that's kind of, you know, after the fact, that's what woke me up really, was when I started digging into the science. I just went, holy moly, yeah, there's no wonder this does what it does. And
well, and in talking to our family doctor, they push the statin drugs so hard, and they're like, oh, well, I take them. Well, why do you take them? They're bad for you. It's proven that there's more side effects of those things that are going to hurt you or kill you, and you're going to have to take another pill to counteract that side effect because of that pill, and another one for that one. Why not just go ahead and do something natural? I mean, even the doctors are brainwashed into believing the garbage that they feed them, that the pharmaceuticals are the only way to go. They don't know anything about the holistic medicines and the vitamins and water. We asked the doctor about alkalinity testing. Hey, can you test our alkalinity? He was like, you know what? I don't know. He got to talking to his nurses. The nurses are like, do we have the ability to test alkalinity? They're like, no, we've never done that test before.
get the Google out.
Right. And he was like, well, can we look into that and see why we don't test the pH levels? I mean, because it's proven that your blood pH stays the same. If you go a little bit above the number, you're in a coma, a little bit below the number, and you're dead. So your body is going to do what it has to do to keep your blood pH at that certain sweet number.
Right.
Whether it's rob your bones of stuff or whatever, you know, so it starts robbing all your organs and your bones of what it needs to keep your blood pH where it's at. And once it's robbed everything it can, I mean, that's a bad day for you.
Yes.
Because, and that's what our water does. Our water puts everything back in the correct alkalized state so that our body doesn't have to rob anything to keep it balanced. We're keeping it balanced, where therefore our body is able to heal the things it needs to heal itself without having to fight some other factor that we're throwing in the mix.
Yes, that is exactly the truth, you know. And and as I interview more people here and talk to people outside of this platform, it's par for the course. It happens with every single person that drinks the water, that drinks enough of it. And so it's not like it happens for some people and doesn't happen for other people. Sometimes people have side effects like stomach aches and diarrhea and things like that. And like Dr. Michael,
how acidic your body is to begin with.
yes.
So if you start drinking the water and you have a highly acidic body, yeah, you're going to get the runs, you're going to get the scours, you're going to have a stomach ache because your body is going, oh my God, it's got the right pit. What am I doing? Oh, you know, so your body's scurrying to figure out why it's not having to fight.
Yes. And, you know, like Dr. Michael says in that regard, both him and Dr. Ah, especially Dr. Ah, not Dr. Oz, Dr. Ah. And he says, if you're having any of those kinds of reactions, you need more of the water. You need to drink more. You just need to battle through it because it's, you know, it's flushing toxins out of your system and that kind of stuff. And I know I had one person that came to get water from me and she started having stomach aches and stuff. And so she stopped it cold turkey. And I told her, honey,
yeah, that you need
more. You need it. And she, no, I'm not taking it.
I had the same thing. A friend of mine's daughter was in the hospital because she was in athletics, and he was staying at the hospital with her, and she was having headaches, and she was severely dehydrated and had all kinds of stuff going on. And I'm like, John, just come get some water and bring it up there. And he called me the next day. He was like, it kind of made me dizzy headed. Is that normal? I was like, yes, it's normal. You're highly acidic. It's flushing all the acidity out of your body. And it's putting you back in an alkaline state where you need to be. That's why you've got gout. That's why you've got all kinds of other issues with your health. You need it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, oh no. He was like, she's in the hospital. I don't know if I want to give it to her. I'm like, give her the water. He refused. He was like, I don't want to make anything any worse. I said, you're not going to make anything any worse. I promise you. She's going to be out of there today if you make her drink that water.
Yeah, it's, you know, like we say all the time, we can lead a horse to Kong, but we can't make him drink. But we can feed them some salt to make them thirsty.
That's it.
So that's what we do, run around sprinkling salt around to try and get people to pay attention and give it a shot. And, you know, it's just a matter of time for that kind of thing. And you know, as this technology gets out there, you know what it reminds me of is back in the early 90s when I read the book World Without Cancer. That book changed my paradigm in a huge way. And from that point on, I was 27 years old at that time, and that book made me think proactively. I started from that point on in my life all the way to now. I started taking a proactive approach to my health, utilizing vitamins and minerals. And I started eating a product called USANA, which is a worldwide network marketing vitamin and mineral nutritional products company, energy drinks, all that kind of stuff. And what I learned recently is that they've got one thing they're missing. They're missing calm.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point in time, they were actually selling a distiller, a water distiller. Because Dr. Wentz understood that clean water was an important thing, but what he didn't understand is the simple fact that water is poison. Water is poison. I call it the great conundrum of life, because on the one hand, we have to have it. We can go like 3 to 4 days without it, and if we're not dead, we're wishing to God we were dead. On the other hand, it's killing us. It's a very slow acidic poison, and they call it the universal solvent for a reason, because it eats things, and it literally is eating our body. And so this distilled water, if you go out there and do the pH test on distilled water, it's just barely above battery acid. It might be clean, but ultimately it's dirty to your body. And so for me, I still eat USANA, but I've literally been able to save, $1,000 a year because I have to eat like half of what I used to have to eat, because Kong makes everything so much more effective. It makes everything better, from your tea to your coffee to your foods to the vitamins that you have to take, the nutritional supplements that you might take, the whatever you do.
Kong water makes everything absorbable on a cellular level. Therefore, you don't have to use as much of it because your body takes in what it needs with less. So in the morning when I make my coffee with it, instead of 4 scoops like it calls for, I use 3 tablespoons because I get the same strength coffee, because my water is reducing the molecule size and allowing me to get the same coffee, the same strength, with less product. And it does the same thing for your body. When you take your vitamins, you want to take it with the neutral water because you want those time releases to work. If you use the Kong water with pills and they've got time releases on them, then when you use the 9.5 water, that medicine's hitting your body at a cellular level, and you're using all of it at once instead of it time releasing like it was made to do. So if you want B12 or you want something that's going to hit you quick, you use the 9.5. If you want it to work like it was designed to work, you use the neutral water.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You know, and what about, you know, this is something that I don't really usually talk too much with people about, but I'm gonna start, because after every show I get new ideas of things that I can interject. And you know, we both know that Kong is a lot more than just drinking water. That's probably the most important aspect of it, but it's much more than that. And so perhaps you could give our guests and people that are going to be seeing this as time goes by, give them an idea of what kind of things you do with the water around the house. Like, do you use it to wash your laundry like I do, and things like that? What kind of other things do you do with Kangen water other than just drink it?
You can put it in a spray bottle. You can spray your countertops, disinfect your countertops. You soak your vegetables and your fruits in it for about 5 to 7 minutes. You pour off all the pesticides because it's a degreaser. I present it to people as ionized, alkalized, antioxidant water, which is exactly what it is. And what makes it a medical device is the fact that it produces hypochloric acid, which is what disinfects everything like a doctor does in the surgery. Or it produces a hydroxyl, which is a toner, which is good for your skin and makes it the degreaser side of it. So it's a medical device because it can do all those things. It can degrease, it can hydrate, it can sterilize, it can, you name it, I can wash my stove with it. Put it in a spray bottle, spray down the inside of my stove, let it sit for a minute, take a rag, wipe it out. It degreases that easy.
Yeah, that you know, that's one of the things I always tell people. Once you get this machine, the first time you clean your vegetables off or your fruits, and you see all the gook that comes off of them, and you see it firsthand.
The first time you put them side by side and you taste this one and then you taste this cherry tomato, and this one is sweet and this one's bitter, just the difference in the taste of your food is amazing.
Yeah.
I cook with it.
And that's coming from the same food, right? That's the same little cup of cherry tomato. That's like you went to one store and got some cherry tomatoes and went to another store and got some cherry tomatoes.
Now that's this batch. I take half of it and put it in regular water, half of it and put it in the Kangen water. You let them sit. Yeah, this one has nothing taken off of it. This is a cup full of yellow pesticide, and the taste is just amazing.
And then the food lasts longer too.
Yes.
You know, I've heard people saying that they take and clean their cherry tomatoes or their grapes or whatever, their strawberries, and then they take that and store it in the fridge in the 9.5 water. Mm-hmm. And they say they get it to last for as long as 2 weeks longer by doing that. And so, you know, once again, with all the science behind this, all that stuff makes perfect sense that it would work that way. You know, like if you take an apple and slice it in half and take one side of the apple and spray it with 9.5 water and don't spray it on the other side. within minutes, the one side's turning brown and the other side's still sitting there looking yummy and ready to, like, you want to chow down, you know?
Go get you some little baby food jars and put some nuts, bolts, and screws in one jar with regular water and the other jar with the Kangen water. Put those lids on there and let them sit. That right there is proof in itself, because we've got a guy who's had the same ones in the jars. They're sealed, and he's had them in there for probably 15 years. And the Kangen water one is still clear. You can shake them around. The other one is orange and rusty.
Yeah. It's literally eating.
Yeah.
It's doing its universal solvent thing, and it's doing the same thing that it does to your body over a period of time. So,
absolutely.
wow, that's so that's some really interesting information. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And my next question to you is I think the one that I have a lot of fun with. Everybody seems to have a different answer. And so it'll be interesting to see how you answer this and what you think of this question. But the question is simple. You've got somebody out there who's interested in potentially joining the Kong family. And you get to say one thing to them to try and help get them off the fence, to get them over the fence, to get them in, to get them to make that wise choice. What is the one thing that you say to them?
I want you to be around for your family. If you want to be around for your family, this is it. This is your chance. This is playing with the grandkids in the backyard. This is enjoying your time and not just sitting in a rocking chair on a porch, but actually getting out there and playing a little t-ball or tai chi or whatever it is you're into.
And raking the leaves.
That's it. Gardening. This is it. This is your health.
That's fantastic. You know, I love that. Everybody has some sort of a different answer to that. And some people have said, wow, that's kind of deep. I don't know. What would I say? You know,
Yeah.
I only get one thing to say. What do I got to say?
I got one thing to say. This is your future.
Yeah. This is your life.
This is your health. This is your health in the future.
Yes. And, you know, that's one thing that I've recognized for a long time. I never had a clue just how much water had to do with all the people. Don't realize that the water they drink is not only is it 75% of their body, but it's poison. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. I'm not the one who created this crazy conundrum. God did that, not me.
That's
and,
you know. But the water we have now is not the water that we had a million years ago when he created it. Over time, we've ruined it. We've polluted it. We've put medications in the water. We've put pesticides in the water. So we've killed everything that he did.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to get the water back to a state that it was in when he originally designed it to do what it was supposed to do for us.
Right. And, you know, that's another crazy thing that I've come in to understand. And that is that it's, you know, you talk about ruining the water. Well, you know, part of the way that we ruin the water is by storing it, by putting it in tanks, putting it in bottles, putting it in lakes and reservoirs and that kind of stuff. And water simply can't be stored and be good for you. Not even
It was meant to be flowing through the rocks and flowing through the tributaries where it's being filtered by those rocks and re-ionized and mineralized through the rocks. I mean, that's why you've got gorges and canyons, because the water went through those areas, eroded it down, put those minerals and stuff into the water like it needed to, and then we drank it.
Yeah. And then plus the action of it falling, and you know, that electrolyzes
oxygenates it. And yeah.
And so that's been a really interesting thing to learn. And so the last thing that I would love to, because one of my big goals for this is just to simply, not only to educate people, but also to help my fellow family members get themselves out there, to let people know who they are, where they are, how they can get involved, because you never know whose story is going to resonate with who. And you never know, somebody might look at me and think, that crazy little damn Anastasia, I don't want to work with him. He's nuts, and they might see you and go, wow, she's awesome. I want to work with her. And so one of the last things that I ask here to all of the guests is if they would be willing to, because someone's going to see this. These are going to get shared out for years and years, days, months, weeks, and years, and as time goes by, right? And somebody listens to this and sees you, and they're like, I really want to hook up with that Carol. She is a sweetie, and she knows what she's talking about. She's the kind of person that I would like to work with. And so, what I ask everybody to do is, hey, share whatever information you want to give to people. If you want to talk to them about gas, you want to talk to them about Kong's water, you have something else you want to let them know about, whatever it is, who is Carol and how can they get a hold of you? Phone numbers, websites, Facebook, Twitter, what the heck ever you want to give them. This is your opportunity right here to tell everybody who Carol is, and if they want to work with you, how do they do it?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I've got several different pages. I've got my Carol Hettinger Water for Life page. I've got Carol Hettinger, which is my everyday Facebook page. I've got freedomisbelieving.co, which is going to be the gas informational page. Or you can call me, 409-550-2076. My phone's always on. Send me a message. I'll schedule a chat time with you. Message me off of one of the pages. You can always get in touch with me. I always got a phone somewhere.
Why don't you elaborate a little bit for everybody? What's this gas thing all about? Oh, what's gas? What's Kong? What's gas? We told them what Kong is. What's gas? They might be interested in knowing.
GAZ is an educational platform. Very inexpensive, very reasonable.
What does GAZ stand for?
Global Affiliate Zone.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, kids. Now, I'm sorry, continue on. I just wanted to know what that stood for.
Well, it's the Global Affiliate Zone. We all get together. We go in there, and we have an educational platform showing you how to do online marketing, how to set up your web business page, how to promote your products, how to do advertising, create videos. It's just got a whole gamut of, you could go on for hours about the education that you're going to learn in there and how to promote yourself and your business. So everything now is going to the online world. Everybody is sitting behind a computer, and I mean that you got stores closing, you've got businesses going out of business because everything's going online.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it's going to be here before long. We're all going to be talking like this. We're all going to be doing the Facebook thing. You're going to be ordering stuff from whatever website like Amazon or so. I mean,
what's that they say about the largest cab company in the world doesn't own a cab? The largest hotel chain doesn't own a hotel room?
Exactly.
Isn't that cool stuff? And, we truly do have the cell phone of 1973, the computer of whenever that was. What was that, the late 60s when the computers started coming out or something like that? And,
yeah.
So we've got a tremendous technology, and like I always love to say about it, it is by far and away, this is what Sean Wetzel always loves to say and kind of taught me, this is by far and away the most eco-friendly technology that there is on the planet. It's not only eco-friendly for your planet, if you want to refer to it as that, because literally this is, it's kind of fascinating to me. I never really thought about this until one day I watched a particular Kangen water video on YouTube, because I'm always trying to educate myself about the water, so I'm always watching something about it.
Uh-huh.
And they mentioned the fact that our body is 75% water, and the earth is 75% water. It's such an interesting little comparison between our body and the earth that we live on and that we need. We depend on this earth to be able to live, and we also depend on our body to be able to live. And what I've seen over all the years, especially, I was never really concerned about it or interested in it until I read the book World Without Cancer, because I was 27. I was strong and didn't even do it. I was unbreakable, I couldn't.
10 foot tall and bulletproof, baby.
Exactly. And so I didn't think about this, but once I read the book World Without Cancer, it changed my thought process to realize, and all of a sudden I started seeing that there's a lot of people out there that are alive, but they're not really living. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of people that I know. I just lost two of my sisters that were a perfect example over the last, probably 10 years of their life, where, yeah, they were alive, but they weren't really living. They were hooked up to an oxygen bottle. They weren't
alive. They were existing.
Pills down their throat. They were, suffering from this, that, or the other. And so they weren't really alive. They weren't really living. They were just alive. Mm-hmm. And so, what we want to do is teach people how to live and be able to actually live, like your mother-in-law, who now she went from not being able to do much of anything to now she's out raking the yard and playing in the garden and doing the things she did when she was younger, all from just changing her water. And so that is just fascinating stuff to learn about and to see happen. And it really is a very heartwarming thing. And I know for me personally.
And the only other thing I want to say is I do hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I can get the turmeric supplements anywhere. I can get that for half the price that I can get it from there. All I have to say is you're looking at quality. Quality and quantity are not even comparable when it comes to your health. I mean, you don't want to get 250 of this, but it's got all these additives and preservatives and stuff that your body doesn't need, which is counter-reacting the good stuff that you do need. So, I mean, sometimes you have to take into consideration what it is you're actually getting.
Yes, exactly. And that's
is your health worth that price? I mean,
and that's the same thing when it comes to the Kangen water machine. You get what you pay for. If you go out there and look at some of these so-called competitors, there are no competitors. There's nobody out there that produces anything even close to what the Kangen water machine is. And what
we have a couple scientists on our team that actually create medical devices. One of them, for the last couple of years, has been doing a study with animals. He took a set of sheep, and he had 5 sheep over here and 5 sheep over here. He gave the first set of sheep nothing but the Kangen water. He gave the second set of sheep nothing but spring-fed water. And after a period of like 6 months, he had the vet come in, didn't tell the vet anything about any of it. And he said, well, what's the difference between the animals? And the vet said, well, first of all, just looking at them without doing any exam, I can tell you that the coat on these sheep over here is thicker, it's fuller, they're obviously healthier, they're sprier. These ones over here are a little more lethargic, their coats aren't as thick, their hoofs are discolored. And then after looking and doing his examinations, the ones on the Kangen water almost had no parasites of any kind, didn't have to give them antibiotics, didn't have to give them wormers, didn't have to give them anything. I mean, can you imagine how it's going to revolutionize the industry for foods? Because you've got us growing all these meat. These sheep over here are only drinking water, but they're twice the size of these sheep over here. And so you're not having to give them hormones, you're not having to give them antibiotics. And then he said he got his group of scientists together. They broke down the machines. They bought like several different brands that are on the market. He said every single one of them that they tore apart, they could find a hole in. These right here, the plates wear out. They're teeny tiny titanium plates, or they're not titanium at all. They're just some sort of metal. They get to the Kangen machine, they tear it apart, said couldn't find a single hole in it anywhere. 5 titanium plates dipped in platinum, no wear, no tear. They're built for longevity. They're built for use. He said he put it back together, and that's what they've been using ever since.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
they're in the process of building boxes actually to put on the machines so that they can start putting the Kangen water in all the pastures and stuff like that. That way the farmers will be able to afford it, and they can hook it up for their animals.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's exciting stuff. People are going to hear that. Imagine what it'll do for your dogs and your cats and your bunnies and your chickens. And
absolutely, because I have animals. All my animals have never had anything but the Kangen water. We have one of my mom's elderly dogs. She had those little cysts all over her skin that were hard, that were, the soft little knots. They said that they were just some sort of cysts. And after about a year of drinking the water, they all started getting harder. Well, we went to a conference, and I talked to the scientist's wife about it. She said, yeah, we're finding the same thing is happening with the animals. Over time, they start getting harder and harder and harder, and then one day they just pop and disappear. Yeah. Because Mom came running in here, oh my goodness, Buttercup's thing just popped, and there's this nasty grainy stuff all over the place. So anyways, yeah, I talked to her about it, and she said, yeah, that it's consistent with what we're finding in the animals. Any of the impurities in their systems, any of the health issues they're having, they find the weakest spot in the body to release themselves and go out. So it'll all ball up and get next to the skin, and then pops and goes away.
Wow, that's so cool. I know I have a tremendous story with my old kitty. I've got a 17-year-old kitty. I just call everything kitties and puppies. I don't ever call them dogs and cats, Yeah. But yeah, he was lethargic. He was weighed 22 pounds. He was hardly doing anything. He would eat and poo and pee and just lay around and do nothing. And he had this really bad limp. I'm not even sure exactly which leg it was in. I think it was one of his front legs, but he had this really bad limp whenever you'd see him. And he couldn't jump up on the bed anymore. He couldn't jump up to his favorite spot on the sewing machine where he loves to hang in front of the window. And after 2 years now of drinking Kong's water, he's down to 17 pounds. He's spry again. He's chasing little Angel all over the house. It's funny, Ernell, I'll be sitting down here in my office, and I'll hear this running across the upstairs, and I know what it is it's Johnny's chasing Angel all over the place. And it's so funny to watch them, and I'll egg them both on. Get her, Johnny, get her. Get him, Angel, get him, And she's so much faster than him, and she can jump up higher, and she'll get up on things and jump down on him, and it's just hilarious. But I thought he was literally on his deathbed. He was 15 and a half years old, and he was just, it's like, we don't have much time left with him.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy it while you can, and now he's off and going.
Yeah, he's a completely different animal, and we're going to have him for a lot longer now. And I wish we had an old cat that lived to be 19, and he probably would still be alive and in his 20s now if we would have known about this water time. And so that's one of the great things, is to be able to get to people soon enough, and and get them the information, get them the stories, so they can get the light bulb turned on and do the research, and
and get them to realize that the government's not always right about everything, and our healthcare system is a healthcare system for the sick. It's here's a pill, here's a bill, see you later. Ours is a proactive system where let's fix it before it gets broke, and that way you don't have to worry about it. So why not prevent it? My dad always said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. And with Kong's water, it's worth about a ton of cure.
Sure, that's it.
So, Carol, thank you so much for coming on and letting everybody see that beautiful smile, and, just all of this great information. And, everybody comes on here and offers something something awesome. At the end of every show, I'm going, man, that was awesome. That was so great. Get that out. And so it's been tremendous. And I want to just close this thing out. We've been going for about 45 minutes here. And what I would like you to do is just, if you want, if you've already said everything you want to say, fine. And I love you and I appreciate you coming on. And I want to thank everybody that's going to end up watching this once it gets on to, I don't know what happened with Facebook. They won't let me do what I normally do, but we're getting this recorded and it's going to get shared out as a YouTube video. And so people will be able to see it. They're probably wondering, where is he? Why isn't he on there? And I don't know. I'll figure it out though. But, in closing, do you have any one last thing that you would like to say to everybody that, you may have already answered this a little bit earlier, but I always at the end give everybody one last chance to, do you have any last message that you would like to leave our family with? And,
Absolutely. Leave the negativity behind. Focus on love. Try to share that out to everybody that you meet, because ultimately your life is going to be better if you're positive and you're loving to everybody around you. You get what you give out. So why not project love and happiness as opposed to the negative?
Amen. Yeah. And isn't that perfect too? Because you may have heard the other day that one of my nieces has been watching the morning motivation on the side. She's been watching it in my live, or she's been watching the replays, and she sent me a message saying how it's changed her life. And she said, I'm looking at my life differently now, and I am beautiful. And I got to talk to her yesterday on the phone, and she said, I am beautiful. I get up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror, and I tell myself I'm beautiful and I love myself. And I'm like, fantastic, honey, because you are beautiful.
That's it. We're every one of us in this world are unique, and we're exactly who God created us to be. And you have to embrace that. No two people are the same. No two people think alike. No two people are built alike. You have to strip yourself down to the bare naked you and love you for who you are, because that's what you got. It's never going to change. It's never going to be any different. You are who you are. Yeah. And you have to love every inch and every ounce of who you are. You have to recognize the bad things in you and strive to make those bad things that you don't like positive, good things that you do like.
Amen.
You're the only person that knows those things about yourself, and you're the only person that can fix them.
Amen, kids, right there. That's some hard-hitting, awesome advice, because the truth of the matter is there's only one thing in this world you have absolute control over, and that's your thoughts. And so think positive, think love, think excitement, think joy, think happiness, think beautiful, because that's exactly what you are if you want to be. And you don't have to listen to what other people say. You have to listen to what you say. Take care of you first, kids. That's the key. Take care of you first, then you can worry about taking care of others. And that's
you can't take care of anybody if you can't take care of yourself.
Exactly, yes. And that's, what an awesome meeting today. Thank you so much, Carol, for taking your valuable time that you could be hanging out with that awesome lesser half of yours. And, I appreciate you coming in here and sharing it with our audience. And, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Have the rest of an awesome day. Make sure to have a nice big group hug for me, and some hootie hoos into the air. That'll
absolutely. And everybody say a quick prayer. One of the puppies got adopted yesterday, and I'm bringing the rest of them up there for a big adoption event at the shelter today. So hopefully we got 3 more puppies fixing to go to some excellent homes.
Awesome. I love it. They're so cute, those little rascals. I wish I had the ability to get a puppy, but I don't think my kitties would like it too much. But
actually, believe it or not, we have a lot of cats down there and dogs that hang out together.
Yeah, the
sometimes a cat needs its own pet dog.
Kept us from getting dogs mostly over the years is just the fact that there was a time when we would spend 60 to 70 days a year on the river, doing river trips all over the western United States, and our kitties We just give them some water and food, lay it out, make sure they got plenty of litter box space, and they just take care of themselves. We don't have anybody do anything. We're puppies. You can't really do that. They need you around. They need to go out for walks. They need to do their things. And so, yeah, but yeah.
We bring ours with us. I've got life vests, and we've got little attachments that I can attach to the boat. That way, if they do jump over the side, there's a little rope attached to the boat so that we can just reel them back in.
You guys are going to have to come out here and do a river trip with us one of these years. Have you ever done an overnighter? Yeah, that's what my wife and I, we've been down the Grand Canyon 9 times, and it's a that's a dream. 23-day river trip, 23 days, 290 miles, 300 rapids. We're going to have to get you on one of those one of these years. We got to get you out here to the west, and Thomas will really have some fun taking some pictures. So
absolutely. Yeah. We talked about that, I guess a couple of years ago. We talked about doing the rafting trip down the Colorado.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of that kind of stuff. In fact, we're going to do a trip down Cataract Canyon. Thomas, what do you say, my brother? Hootie-hoo! We got to get you guys down Cataract Canyon with us this year. We did it for 19 years in a row. And then now I've gone like 4 or 5 years without doing it because of the fossil quarry. Mm-hmm. And one of my good friends who really loves doing it, she said, we've got to go down Cataract again this year. We've gone too long without going. And it's an 8-day trip. We do it. We launch on the Saturday before Labor Day, and then we take out on the Saturday after Labor Day. So people who have regular jobs, they can work until that Friday before Labor Day, and then they need Saturday, and the next week they just need Tuesday through Friday off. Mm-hmm. And then we get off the river on Saturday. They get home on Sunday, and they're, but
24 hours to recuperate.
8 days of river, and it's the one river trip that I actually say is actually a vacation. Most of them are expeditions, and you work your butt off. And with Cataract, it's a little different. We barge all the boats together for the first couple days and motor, and then we bust them apart for the rapid days, and then we put it all back together and put a motor on the back again and motor out of there. And it's just a lot of fun. And it's a relaxing, beautiful river trip through canyon lands. And so you should punch in one of these days when you're curious, just punch in Cataract Canyon and see what comes up. Look at some of the cool pictures and that kind of thing. And so anyway, once again, Carol, thank you so much for coming on. And this is getting recorded, and I will be sharing it out as soon as I get the recording back. I'll put it up on YouTube and send it to you. And of course, feel free to get the word out there. And thank you once again, and good luck getting rid of the puppies today. Hopefully, they can all find awesome homes,
forever homes. Yeah.
And you are totally to be commended for all the work that you do with the animals. It's really awesome, and we love you so much for everything you do. And thank you for being part of the Kong family and, being such a great inspiration. So thank you so much. I love you. And we'll see you tomorrow morning in the morning motivation.
See you in the morning, JJ. Love you.
Love you too, honey. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Oh, by the way, don't forget your hug.
Hootie-hoo!
Hootie-hoo!